Hello, this is your girl Dawn Renee. And I posted a video a few days ago about trauma. And the reality is, I don't think everybody really understands the depth of what trauma is, or that there are so many different kinds of trauma. Recently, Tyler Perry just released his latest movie, Divorce in Black. And I've heard good things, I've heard bad things in between. Oh, it's the same old story, it's bashing. Um, but this is the reality. There are certain things in that movie that are really true, that really, really happen. That is a perfect example of trauma. Do I like to see it played out where men are the bad guys all the time? No, because that's not how the world works. There are women that are just as, if not some worse, with certain situations than men can be. But in that movie, if we break it down, the mother of those boys, young men, has went through some form of trauma. It very well could be, as they say, there's no father in the house because they didn't show one, or what she went through in her childhood. There's several different things that could have happened, but the reality is, because of the level of trauma and hurt that she went through, she raised her boys to be just the opposite of what she probably really wanted them to be. Instead of them being protective and good, upstanding men, I can't say all of them, but I will say the one that we saw was dealing with his own battle. That's what I mean when I say trauma being passed on to our children. That is something that we have to work on, because not so much work on. We really need to break that cycle, because our trauma being passed on to our children continues and it continues and it continues. I don't want my grandchildren or my great grandchildren to have to live with that. Another thing, the woman in that video or movie, I'm sorry, she had her own issues that she was dealing with. I heard somebody say, "There's no way a woman could be that passive." You have not walked in some of these women's shoes. There are women that become that passive because of what they feel like they lack, or don't understand what they lack, or have not received in their life. Most times, if you have not really saw or gotten true love, unconditional love, love with no motives behind it, you really don't know how to take it when you do get it. If you've been mistreated and you have not healed, you carry that into the next relationship. We have a tendency to hold others responsible for what we've been through in the past, instead of taking time to be by ourselves and heal from what we've been broken. It's a vicious cycle that continues to go on. Really, really want to dig deep and go into understanding what trauma is, being able to provide resources for people to get help. Trauma is not something that you can say, "Oh, I left the marriage and I'm good." No. "I left the relationship and I'm good." No. It takes longer than that. And most people don't realize how deep rooted that trauma is until it's been activated. So, with that being said, I really, really want people to take time to understand that trauma happens to men and women. We, as a structure, the African American community, the Hispanic community, I don't care what race you are, what background is, trauma happens to all of us. And if we take the time to understand what caused, what happened, what needs to be changed, instead of having generational curses, as they call them, we can have generational blessings. Have any questions? Reach out to me on my website, www.dawnrenee.live. Feel free to inbox me here. I am a life coach, mental health coach. Last step to finishing doing the internship for my master's in clinical mental health counseling. And I've done the work because I've been there. I've been through the trauma. I've been through the brokenness. I've been through the forms of abuse. whether it be a parent, a husband, a boyfriend. I've walked through that storm, but I had to do the work to be able to help others.